Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Part 11 now of the build of this Scammell Commander tank transporter. It's turned out to be a lovely model, but it's a bit of a struggle with this trailer, I must be honest. It's things like this that absolutely blow my mind. 6 ejector pin marks. This is the rear, sort of the rear plate. This is going to go on the back end of the trailer. I'm doing this literally just after I filmed part 10. So that's going to go on there, okay? So that's like the rear beam, if you like, on the trailer. 6 ejector pin marks, and they're on the outward facing side. The inside, completely clear, nothing at all. On the outside, where it's going to be seen, they've got 6 ejector pin marks. Just one other quick thing, I haven't noticed it. I'm just reading the comments from part 9, and Peter Field, who's already built this kit, has notified me in part 9 that there is another part missing, and it's this one here. This is part B36. Again, it's covered in ejector pin marks, but I'm just past bloody caring. I've had a guts full of this. And they're not going to show anyway. So basically this part here, B36, should have gone in step 1. And I can't believe I didn't spot it. There it is there. You can see it. It fits up under here, under the gooseneck, into those 2 holes. So we've got 2 pins. We've got ejector pins, which I may well fill because you may be able to see them. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in now, but hopefully I can. I'm worried I'm not going to push it in properly because I might not be able to get it out again. But it feels like it's going to kind of clip in. If not, I'll just shorten the ends a bit. So that's going to basically go in there as like a cross member type thing. And yes, those ejector pin marks are visible. So thank you, HobbyBoss, for doing that. I mean, they could have got some more of them. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5. They could have got at least another sort of 8 in there, couldn't they? So anyway, never mind. So I'll get those filled, and then we'll see about getting this put in. I think I'll paint it black first as well, and then see how it looks. Right, 2 days later now, and I've done a little bit of work off camera. You can see I've fitted these little braces in here, these little corner pieces. I fitted that rear cross member in there with all the ejector pin marks all sanded out. I've also fitted these lamp brackets. I haven't fitted the lamps because they've formed part of the Edward kit, as you know, as I've said a million times, and I'm not going to do that until I see what they're like. Fitted those 2 cylinders in there. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. Also fitted these photo etch panels on the side here. Just put them on with the VMS, and then I primed them with an etch primer. I used the Mr. Hobby etch primer, and then give them a coat of black Mr. Surfacer, as you can see there. Also fitted these little tie downs. You can see there's 6 little tie downs on the side of the trailer. Gone over those in the black as well. Fitted those 2 parts on the front there, and also that part there, B36, that Peter kindly told me about, and that went in actually very easy. Did all the ejector pin marks on that, so that's all done. So that's basically where we are with the trailer. And as I said, when we get into part 11, we'll be looking at doing the ramps. And as you can see here, we've got all the ramps going together. Got 2 different sides there, but a lot of the parts are common. First observations, the insides of these pieces are full of ejector pin marks. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 on each of them. So I get those filled because when it goes together, especially if you have it with the ramps up, you're going to be able to see them. So I would get them done. You know, don't need to be perfect, but just get rid of them, get rid of the sharp edges. I've also painted these. I put these brackets on here. These little brackets here, they support these bits, whatever they are. I think they're little sort of ramps or something, I don't know. But I painted inside of those black because when this goes together, as you can see, getting up inside there with the paint is going to be quite difficult. So I like to try and get bits painted that are going to be you know, in a recess or whatever. Now with these ramps, there's a Z-pin sticking out there which needs to come off, but I've also noticed this is the C part, and it's actually a lot better. Sorry, this is the N part. This is the C part, and you can see on there, I'm not sure if you can make it out, there's like a step. It's an ejector pin, but it's a square ejector pin, and it's left a step on the surface, and that is going to affect the way that fits together. So best get rid of that. So we'll scrape them away like so, we are. So that's that done, and I can come in with a sanding stick and just get rid of the excess on there, and that'll enable it to go together a lot neater. The other thing I've noticed in the instructions, that's a lot better. In the instructions they tell you to glue these halves together here, okay, and then add that. I would recommend doing it the other way around, because these parts actually slot. You see these ribs in here, these parts actually slot over them. I think it'd be a lot easier to assemble it this way, like that, than try and do it the other way. It'd be a lot easier to get it all level and square and everything, and then we can get some glue in there and get it all fixed up. We're going to have some gap filling to do, I think, because the fit isn't perfect. Something's holding that off of there. What is it? There is something stopping all going together nicely here. That's a bit better. Yeah, be wary with this, guys. I mean, this trailer is absolutely plastered in ejector pin marks, as you know, or as I know, and I've shown you. There is also some issues with fit, with not so much flash, but mold seams and stuff like that. So just take your time and get it together nicely, because it really is kind of, I don't know, it's just, it needs a bit of extra care and attention. And you can see now why I sprayed the inside of those black, because you're not going to be able to get the paint in around the edges and everything. So that's ready for some glue now, so we can get that together and go from there. As you can see, a little bit of clamping required to get those to stay together, so there we go. I fitted these two bits here. I've also assembled the spare wheel mount, so that's gone there, and we've got the pulley under there. So assembled those together, the pulley still turns, so I can get that all painted nicely. And then that is going to mount onto the front of the trailer on this mount here. So that's going to go on there like so. So we'll get some paint off of there. So that's going to sit into there. You can hear that just clip in. Very nice fit indeed. And then we'll get some extra thin to capillary in the side there, and we'll get another drop to capillary in the side there. And there we go. That's all gone together. And you can see we've got some oozage there, which we don't really want, and it's okay. It could look like a weld, but the trouble is we won't have welds anywhere else, so it'll look a bit odd. There you go. That's all gone together nicely. So we just leave that to dry, and then our spare wheel, which is here. I've made some resin spare wheels in case you didn't see my video. This is a scrap one with a bubble in it, but yeah, you can see that goes on there. So this is one that I've already sanded out the centre, so that'll sit on there. So now we have a spare wheel to go on our trailer, which is missing from the kit. And I've also done a Scammell badge for the front grille as well. So there we are. Right. So we'll leave that to dry. We'll leave them to dry, and then I think we're going to have to be into Mr. Surfacer City to fill in some of those gaps. That one's not so bad. This one is not very good at all. So we'll see how it dries out. Okay, moving forward, doing a few bits and pieces while these ramps are drying. So as you know, we've got the spare wheel mount fitted now. I've got the parts off the sprue to build up the crane, which is here in step, where was it? Here it is, sorry, here in step 11, we've got the crane assembly. So we've got these two parts here, B41, B42, we've got B8 going on the top, and then we've got B48 is going to go underneath, and there's the handle for the hand winch, bracket for the top, and then the actual crane itself, and that's just for lifting off the spare wheel. I've also built up these toolboxes, N6, N7, B8, B9, B10, glued them together, left them overnight, sanded them, and then just glued the lids on just now. Found a problem with those, which I'll show you now. Also notice we've got these marker lights going on here. You've got a bracket there, which they're saying goes into a hole in the side of the gooseneck, and there is no hole there on either side. So we'll have to make a hole for them, or just lightly fit them on without the pegs. And there's no part numbers. The clear part here is GP5, and this part here is B37, B38. You can see them there in the bag, and B37, B38, they look identical. I don't know why they're separately numbered. So there we go, and that's all I've got left now of the B sprue. So let's look at getting this crane together. So we've got these two parts here going together, and there's no cable once again. I've got to get some fine cable for this, and also for the hand pulley on the actual main winch itself. So we'll just get a drop of cement on there. So that's that together, and then we'll quickly, how's that? It's going to go onto there. Is that's going to go onto there with that way. Okay, so with that facing that way, that's going to go onto that. So we've got, yeah, you've got different sized pegs on there, so it can't go together the wrong way, which is unusual. They've got a bit of engineering in the kit. So first, we've also got some massive ejector pin marks there, I've just noticed. Surprise, surprise. That is going to glue down over the crane like that, so that ejector pin mark will disappear, so that's okay. We've got this bracket going on the bottom, and there's a hole in it, and the hole goes on the thick bit, so that's going to go together like that, I'm guessing. No indication at all of how it goes together. That's just going to sit like that in the middle, I guess, and then drop of cement on there, and a drop of cement on there. Get that sort of in the middle like that, and then this handle is going to go on the bottom, and that's also going to face forward. So we'll put a drop of cement in that hole, some more cement on the brush, and that's going to go like that. Obviously the handle is in its stowed position. There we are. So that's that all done, and then that in turn is going to mount onto the top of the crane like so. Just like that. And we got a little bit of filler work to do there. So there's our crane, and that is going to go into there and sit like that. So we could leave that off for now because it's going to be vulnerable to getting snapped, but we've got it there, it's built up, and it's all looking dandy. As I say, we've got some filler work to do in that square peg there. That handle to hang down a touch. And there we are. So that's our crane done. Got a bit of sprue nib still on there on the hook. So we'll have to get a bit of cable, similar in diameter to the cable they got here, and just wrap it around there, and that's going to go into the end of there, I'm guessing. So that'll be good. So that's the crane done. These toolboxes on the sides, as you can see, they've got this sort of C-shaped or U-shaped moulding, and a handle or a lock just above it, and they go into here. But the trouble is, the actual thickness of the plastic on the gooseneck is so thick that when you put this in, like so, it fouls on the latch. So we need to get a blade. I'm using my radius blade here. I've been using this with super glue, so I'm just going to remove that super glue from there, and then just come along and get the blade and roll it along and slice plastic off of the top, just like so. It doesn't matter if you make a mark on the toolbox because that's going to be glued up against the side of the gooseneck. So there we are. There we go. Just take a bit more off, reduce that down to almost nothing. And that will allow it to fit. And then we can come along, put that into its slot, and you can see that that will now go on there, and it will fit, and it will fit flush. It doesn't rock. So that's that done. Right, I'm going to get some work done on these ramps, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've done a bit more work on these ramps. We've done the mister surface around the outside, filled in the bottom here, the gaps with super glue, sanded all that out. So they're all looking lovely. We've got those tie downs in the middle. And then here we have the hinges, and they're a little bit tight, but I'm not going to glue them in, because if you don't glue them in, we can probably, if the glue's dry enough, we can probably have these operating, as you can see. Okay, so we can have them displayed. It's not so they want to play with it, but we can have it displayed in the folded up position or have them out. So do whatever you like with them. The handles on the outside, they go that way. Okay, there's no indication in the instructions which way around they go that way, so the angle faces upwards. Okay, so the way I'm going to assemble these end pieces here, we've got C2 and N3. I'm saying to put them in here. What I've done is, as you can see, I've done this side already. I fixed that into there. Okay, so that's glued in there. And then what we can do is slide this shaft through. I can see I've still got some seam line there I want to get rid of. And then we can slide this shaft through those pins, those hinges there. Still got that bloody seam line. Go away, Mr. Seam Line, we don't want you. Yeah, right, so that goes in there, like so. And then we can push, try and hold this up so you can see what I'm doing. We can push that into there, and then there's a hole in the rear cross member that this can go into, just like so. And then I'm going to put a drop of extra thin quick setting in there just to get it welded in quickly. And give it a push with the tweezers, just squeeze it in there. And that's all good, and then I can put a drop in there. And then we can fold that up. And there we go. So that's those rear ramps done. Now we've got some, we've got these long vehicle signs here. I can't remember, I need to check, I'm not sure if they come in the photo etch set. But I'm not going to fit those on yet. I'll paint those off of the truck and then put them on after, if indeed we're going to use them. So the final bit to do on the back of here, so we've done all this now, over the page we've got these little N2 and C3 and these little hooks, these little shackles that are going to go into those holes in there. So there we go. So that's all gone lovely, all nice and snug. So I'll get those shackles and that, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so there we go. I've got those hooks on the back now. It's worth noting that one side of the parts are on the end sprue and the other side are on the C or the B sprue, and it seems that all the end parts are thicker. So very strange, or thinner. I can't remember if the end was thinner or thicker. I can't remember. But check it out. These here, for instance, I don't know if you can see it there, but that outer pivot there, look how thin it is compared to that one. Which is very strange, and they were the same. So it's very strange. It's almost like they had an afterthought and forgot to do both sides of everything on one sprue. So they've done this N sprue. There's a lot of, like with these toolboxes, one side of this is N and the other side is all C. There's lots and lots of end parts all over the model. There's my spare wheel, so that's going to go on there. I've yet to think how I'm going to fix that down. Basically, I found out, thank you Peter, that there were studs in there and nuts that went on the top. So basically we can put just some bolt heads in there or something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll have a think about that. but obviously I want to get it all painted first because the tyre is going to be painted separately. We've got these track guides going on here. These track guides, they go on like so, okay, and then they're obviously adjustable for different widths of track. So I'm not going to fit those now, one because I want to be able to paint and weather the deck without these on, and two because I don't know what the load's going to be. And then obviously we've got the little lights and things. We've got these hooks going down the side. I could get those on in a minute, actually, forgotten about those. We've got these little lights and that going on, and these lights, where are they? Here, that have no number on them. I'm not going to put them on yet because obviously they're clear, they're going to get knocked off, so we'll put those on after we've got all the priming done. In fact, probably after we've got the whole thing painted green, then we'll paint them in afterwards. But basically with these, what you want to be doing, the clear parts, is mask off the lens, paint them silver, okay, and then you can unmask the lens if you want, paint them clear red or orange, whatever colour they got to be, and then mask them again before you do any spraying. Or you could just leave the masking on there, and then after it's all done, take the masking off and just go in with a brush and put your clear red or clear orange on there or whatever. But it's imperative to remember, paint them silver first, otherwise if you put your black primer on or your green paint, you'll end up with a very dark looking light. You want them to be, you want them to look like lights, don't you, rather than anything else. So that's I've done this block, that pulley block there, that's going to go in the middle, I believe, like that. Yes, it goes that way around, so that's going to go in there, so we'll leave that off until it's all painted. We've obviously got our crane there, which is not done, and the spare wheel, and I've basically got all of what's left of the parts here on these sprues now in that bag. In fact, I'm missing one because I haven't got two long vehicle signs, so I must look for that. I must have put it down in the box somewhere. It'll be here somewhere. So so there we go. So I'm going to get those side hooks on, then we'll come back and see how they look. Okay, so they're on. You can see those tie downs on the side, all looking very nice. So as I say, I'm not going to put those little lights on, they're going to get knocked off. I'm going to get the whole thing primed black, and then probably give it a coat of green and then put it away, because I can't do anything with it. I can't finish it until I get these lights and everything in the Edward set. If it goes on for too long, like if I wait another couple of weeks for it, then I'll probably just crack on and go ahead with the kit parts. But I really do want the Edward set because of the interior stuff that's in there. So we'll call that a day for this one for now. You can see how it's looking. Here's the actual tractor unit, the Scammell Commander, should I say. So that's looking like that. That's going to go on there. Once we've got the wheels on, we've got the spare wheel, wherever that is, that's going to go on there. And we've got our crane, as I've shown you before. I'm just dealing with the seam on there. So yeah, all in all, it's come together quite nicely. Would I recommend this kit to buy? No. It's vastly overpriced in my belief. Well, it's probably not vastly overpriced compared to other kits or manufacturers. It's probably about right. But when you look at the cost of their M911, their M1070 tank transporter, the Trumpeter tank transporters, you know, they're all around the sort of 99, maybe even 110, 120 pound in some cases. But this is 152 pounds, I think it is retail, and it's not as good as any of the others. If you really want a tank transporter, you want to build one, and you want a tank transporter on your shelf, and you don't care what nationality it is, I would thoroughly recommend the Meng M911, because that is, other than the ejector pin marks everywhere, which you have to keep cutting off, but they're sticky out ones, that is a beautiful, beautiful kit. Also, the HobbyBoss M1070 is nice, but it's not as nice as the Meng. But that's what I'd recommend. This, poor instructions, some really daft engineering designs, like with that exhaust and everything. That was a complete and utter nightmare. The trailer is just awful. You know, it could be a hell of a lot better for a 2022 kit. It's bloody awful, especially from someone like HobbyBoss. You know, this is the sort of thing you'd expect, you know, a new manufacturer to come out with and make a few mistakes in the instructions and have a few missing parts and stuff. You know, parts not in the instructions that are in the kit, and parts that are just missing. You know, like the Scammell badge and the spare wheel. Pathetic. It's pathetic omissions, really, when you think about it. But I've come to the rescue and made some, so there we go. But no, I wouldn't recommend this unless you really want a British tank transporter on your shelf. Then I'd recommend getting one of the American ones, or indeed the Trumpeter Russian ones, which are also quite nice. But you know, it's come together quite well. But I don't know how a beginner would fare with this. I don't know quite know how they would fare. I'm not quite sure how they go. Whether they go like that or like that. We'll have to have a look. Also, there must be something there that they screw into to clamp them down, so there's something missing there, isn't there? I'll have a look in my reference book. So anyway, we're going to call that a day for this one. That's been part 11. It's been shorter than usual, I know. I'm sorry, but there's really nothing else I can do with this now. So I'm going to put it back in its box, get it back sat next to the Apache, and once we've got what we need for that one, then we can get that one back on the bench. And then once we've got what we need for this one, we can get this one back on the bench. And in the meantime, I don't know what to do, because we must be days away from having the airscale cockpit set for the A20, which I really, really want to get going. So I don't know what I'm going to do in the meantime, but stay tuned and I'll let you know. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. If you've liked the video and you haven't subscribed already, hit that little picture of me just about there. You can subscribe. Typical. Literally seconds from the end of the video and the battery goes on the camera. Sony's EV1 doesn't charge while you're filming. If you're going to think about getting one, bear that in mind. Got it plugged into the computer, but it's not charging. So anyway, there we go. So that's it. As I say, if you haven't subscribed already, hit my little face down there. Give us a subscribe. If you've liked the video, hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't liked the video, hit the thumbs down. So I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.